Hi, and welcome to Lamplighter Podcast. My name is Rebecca, and this is my squirrel friend, Momo.
Hello, kids!
We have an exciting story for you today. In each of our stories, we are going to learn about one virtue. A virtue is anything that is good and right and true. Virtues are like little lights that shine bright and beautiful in a story.
Can I tell them about letters from Momo?
Go ahead.
I want to send you a real letter in the mail once a month. In my letters, I will tell you more silly forest stories, talk about virtues, and show you a real historical person who practiced that virtue. Oh, and I'll also talk about acorns.
If you would like to get letters from Momo in the mail once a month, just ask your adult to visit lamplighterkids.com. If you sign up before the 20th, you will get a letter from Momo for that month. Visit lamplighterkids.com for more information. So, are you ready? Come and listen while we light the way to your imagination. And we're back for another Lamplighter story. I was just thinking about Momo, do you have something to say? Why do you keep sighing like that?
Oh, it's nothing.
All right, if you're sure. I was just going to say...
Okay, it's not nothing. It's just that I feel so very bad. You see, Duffy and I were playing soccer together, and he tripped over a rock and did a whole flip in the air and fell on his face. Well, at the time, I just thought it looked so funny that I started to laugh, but he didn't think it was funny at all. He asked me to stop laughing, but I didn't want to. I kept laughing, and I really hurt his feelings. He stomped away, and now I don't know what to do. I hope he can forgive me. I didn't realize it would hurt his feelings so badly.
Oh, well, I'm sorry about that, Momo. Sometimes friends or family members can make each other mad, but it's never fun when that happens. This reminds me a bit of the time when Duffy made you really angry.
Yeah, I think I know what to do, too. I need to ask Duffy to forgive me. I just hope he does.
I think that's a great idea, and I have a feeling Duffy will be gracious to you when you ask him. Maybe before you go, though, you can listen to a story today since it's all about forgiveness.
Oh, that sounds perfect for me right now. Maybe I'll get some ideas for how to ask for forgiveness.
Today's story takes place under the ocean in a beautiful coral reef. Tuttle and Winnie loved playing together in the dappled sunlight of the coral reef. It was a bit unusual for a sea turtle and a seahorse to play together in their reef, but the two of them could care less. The minute they had first met each other, they had become fast friends. Tuttle, the sea turtle, had hatched on a nearby beach not too long ago. He had told his friend Winnie, the seahorse, about his desperate run for the ocean after he had hatched. He had to dodge hungry seagulls and crabs, making his way toward the waves. She was amazed at his story and thankful that her friend had made it safely into the big blue ocean. She couldn't imagine the coral reef without Tuttle. Every day they met up, playing and exploring the wonderful reef together. Winnie wasn't much older than Tuttle, but of course, being a seahorse, she was a lot smaller. It took some effort for her to keep up with him when they swam around the reef, but Tuttle was kind and kept a slower pace. It was a perfect friendship as far as she was concerned, and she was sure nothing could come between the two of them.
Hey, Winnie, come look what I found.
Tuttle was waving to Winnie, who seemed very interested in chasing some bubbles that were coming from a strange, jelly-like blob in the rocks.
What is it?
She cried, still chasing bubbles.
It better be good, 'cause these bubbles are awesome!
It's amazing. You've never seen anything like it. That was enough to get Winnie's attention. She left her popping bubbles and swam over.
Whoa! What are those?
She watched as small creatures slid along the bottom of the ocean floor, but every one of them was lit up with different colors. It looks like sea snails, but I've never seen them light up like this. That's so cool. The two friends watched the strange creatures for a few moments.
Hey, I have an idea. Why don't we collect them? Let's dig in the sand and make a glowing snail city. We can get rocks and plants and make little homes, and we'll put the snails in and see if they like our houses.
Winnie was practically jumping up and down at the fun idea. It sounded like the perfect way to spend their morning. Of course, as usual, Tuttle agreed. The two of them became busy building an underwater sea snail city. After a while they were putting their finishing touches on the snail city, they felt the water around them shift and move. Something or someone had swam up behind them, creating a small underwater current all around. A couple of their snail houses fell down in the shifting current. Tuttle and Winnie turned around to see who had caused this and found themselves face to face with two large sea turtles. My, look what we found here, said the oldest sea turtle with a not-so-nice smile on his face. They could tell by his voice that he wasn't quite a grown turtle yet. A turtle playing with a seahorse? Isn't that a funny thing? Don't you think so, Jerry? I do think so, Freddie. I really do. Freddie looked at Tuttle. What are you doing playing with a seahorse? Don't you think that's a little weird? You should come play with us real sea turtles. To each his own kind, I'd say. Tuttle opened his eyes wide. Nobody had ever spoken to him like this. Everyone in the coral reef seemed fine with his and Winnie's friendship. Of course, they knew it was unusual, but that didn't make it bad or weird. He had a couple sea turtle friends, but mostly he just liked to hang out with Winnie. They always had the most fun together. Winnie looked over and saw that Tuttle was frozen stiff. So she conjured up the loudest voice she could and spoke.
Excuse me, but that's not very nice of you to make fun of him. We're friends, and it doesn't matter what kind of creatures we are. We can still be friends.
The big turtles, Freddie and Jerry, looked at her and slowly began to laugh. Not a nice laugh in the least. Suddenly, Freddie stopped laughing. It seems clear enough to me. Turtles with turtles, that's what I say. Come on, Jerry, let's go. The two of them turned around and began swimming off. Then Freddie turned one last time. But if you change your mind, just remember you can always come play with us. I think you'd be surprised how much more fun you'd have. Then slowly, the two turtles disappeared into the foggy waters beyond.
Wow, I don't know why he had to be so mean. I don't see anything wrong with us being friends,
Winnie said, raising her eyebrows.
Oh, hey, look! A couple snails are coming towards our snail city. Maybe they are coming to check out the new houses we built.
Winnie, forgetting all about the two older turtles, swam back over to the snail city. Tuttle watched Winnie happily begin moving the two snails closer to the houses they had built. Just moments before, he would have happily joined her, but now he had a funny feeling inside. Questions began to fill his mind that he had never thought about before. Did everyone in the coral reef think it was weird for him to play with a seahorse? What if they all thought he was silly for playing with her? Would he be a more normal turtle if he just played with other turtles?
Come on, Tuttle, you're missing the fun. Look, this one's sliding into the house.
Winnie laughed happily. Tuttle swam over and watched with his friend, but somehow it didn't hold as much joy as it usually did. next day, Winnie woke up in her cozy seaweed forest and stretched. After a yummy breakfast of tiny larvas and shrimps, she said goodbye to her parents and headed off to find Tuttle. Normally, they met each other near the great stone arch in the middle of the reef, and then they decided what to do for the day from there. Maybe they could pretend to be eels today and take turns hiding in the rocks and jumping out at each other. Or maybe they could go visit Sea Urchin Land, where there were always new creatures to find. As she approached the great arch, she saw Tuttle swimming in the distance. She quickly stopped, though, because Tuttle was not alone. Two bigger turtles swam by his side, and all of them were laughing at something. Winnie knew right away which turtles these were, and she wondered what Tuttle was doing with them. She swam over slowly. Did I promise it was the funniest thing you'd ever seen? Tuttle? Her voice sounded so small next to the loud laughter of the two older turtles. All three sea turtles turned around and looked at her. Freddie and his companions smiled widely, but Tuttle looked down at his fins when he noticed her. Oh, look what we have here. It's your little seahorse friend, right? Freddie said. Tuttle was silent, but Freddie nudged him. Isn't it? Isn't it the friend you were with yesterday? Not sure what friend I'd call her exactly, Tuttle mumbled. What did you say? We can't hear you, said Freddie. I said she's sort of my friend, but it's not like I play with her all the time or anything. Tuttle kept looking down at his fins, rubbing them together to distract himself. Winnie couldn't believe what she was hearing. Tuttle had never said anything like this to her, and she couldn't understand why he would be so mean. Why was he telling them that she wasn't his friend? I see. Well, since she's not really your friend, why don't you come play with us today? We like to throw some rocks into the gully. Let's go do that. Come on, guys. Freddie and Jerry turned and began to swim away. Tuttle looked up from his fins to watch them go, then turned and followed the two turtles into the distance. Winnie was left all alone and in disbelief. Her best friend had just left her there, choosing those two meanies over her. She wanted to cry and she wanted to be angry all at once. She felt betrayed and hurt. He had never once treated her like that before. How could he do it? Why was he choosing two turtles who he barely knew over her? Tears began to sting her eyes, so she turned and swam quickly away. She didn't care where she was going. She just wanted to go. She wanted to forget everything that happened, but the heavy feeling in her heart kept getting heavier. There was no escaping it. Her best friend had just treated her so horribly, and the worst part was that he didn't even seem to care. He still chose them over her. The next morning, Winnie was still feeling sad. Tuttle probably never wanted to play with her again, and that thought left her feeling very alone. She said goodbye to her parents and swam sadly over the beautiful corals, ignoring their beauty, trying to think of something to do by herself for the day. She decided to go over to the sea cucumber rock. Tuttle and she loved to watch the funny, squishy creatures move about. It had always made them laugh a lot. She knew it wouldn't be as fun to watch them alone, but she hoped it could cheer her up a bit. When she got there, though, she found a big surprise. Tuttle was swimming back and forth in front of the squishy sea cucumbers, his head held down. Winnie felt a wave of anger come over her. She was about to swim away, but Tuttle noticed her there and began waving both his fins in the air.
Oh, Winnie! Good! Stay there!
He swam over quickly to her.
I was waiting for you here all morning. I had a feeling you'd choose the sea cucumbers today.
He smiled, but noticed the angry look on her face and quickly grew serious.
Oh, Winnie, I knew you'd be so mad at me. And you should be. I was so mean to you yesterday. For some reason, I started to care about those two big turtles and what they thought of me. I wanted them to think I was cool for some reason. I thought maybe I was silly for playing with you, but now I can see I was so wrong. So very wrong. I'm so sorry. I felt awful all day yesterday playing with Jerry and Freddie. It only took me a couple hours to realize how mean they really were and that everything they said about us was wrong. Once I realized it, I told them too. I told them they're mean and that they're the silly ones for thinking that it's wrong for us to be friends. I told them that you were a great seahorse and that I was going back to play with you. They both laughed at me a lot for saying all that, but I didn't care. This morning, though, I thought that I may as well try to find you well, to say sorry. Will you forgive me for pretending like we weren't friends, Winnie?
At first, Winnie felt her heart growing harder. Tuttle looked really sad standing there before her, waiting for an answer. She knew that if she swam away in anger, that would get him back for what he did to her. Then he would see how it felt to get hurt. But when she looked at his face again, waiting for her answer, she saw the face of her best friend. She remembered how much trust they had built together ever since they knew each other, and she could see that he was really sorry.
I understand if you can't forgive me, Winnie,
Tuttle said, hanging his head low.
I just thought I'd try. I love playing with you, and I was just hoping we could play together again.
That softened Winnie's heart completely.
Well, you did hurt my feelings a lot, Tuttle, but I forgive you. You're my best friend, too, and I don't want to ruin our friendship over something like this, but could you please not play with those two mean turtles again?
Tuttle's face lit up with a smile, and he swam over and gave Winnie a big, watery hug.
Oh, thank you, Winnie. I know I don't deserve it, but it makes me feel a million waves better now that we're friends again. And of course I won't play with those guys anymore. In fact, if we ever see them again, I'm gonna stick up for you and not let them bully us around anymore. They should learn that they can't treat sea creatures like that.
Winnie smiled and flipped in a big circle. It felt good to be friends again.
Oh, it feels so good to be forgiven. And it feels so good to forgive. When we say goodbye to our bitterness, in harmony we'll live. I'm sorry that I hurt your feelings. I'm glad we're friends again. I'm glad you came to tell me sorry. Our friendship now can mend. We can play again. And we'll still be friends. So, do you want to watch the silly sea cucumbers?
She asked.
That one over there is trying to climb on the seaweed and he looks really funny doing it.
Tuttle giggled and swam over, followed closely by Winnie. The two friends chatted happily and laughed as they played once again on the reef. Tuttle felt so happy that Winnie had forgiven him, and Winnie felt happy to have her friend back. Now they could do what they loved best: explore the beautiful coral reef together.
That was the perfect story for me right now. It gave me so much hope that Duffy will forgive me.
I'm so glad to hear that, Momo. Our virtue in this story is forgiveness. Forgiveness means that you choose loving thoughts towards someone, even though they've hurt you. Forgiveness can happen whether or not the person who hurt you asks for forgiveness. When we stay angry at people, it ultimately ends up hurting ourselves. It doesn't feel good to live with lots of anger in our hearts. When you choose to forgive someone, you aren't saying that what they did to hurt you is okay. You are just choosing not to hold it against them. Forgiveness can be very hard, but it is a very powerful virtue. When you choose to forgive, it makes your own heart softer and more at peace in the world.
Wow, that sounds so awesome. I sure hope Duffy can show me some forgiveness today. I already miss playing with him.
I'm sure he will, Momo. Duffy loves you a lot. All right, it's question time. Question 1. Have you ever had to ask for forgiveness? How did it make you feel to ask? Question 2. When you choose to forgive someone, how does that make you feel? Is it easy or hard to forgive? All right, everyone, that wraps up our story for today. And just as a reminder, Momo and my book is still available for pre-order through Kickstarter just for a couple more days. If you'd like to get our book, Jerome's Journey, ask your adult to visit lamplighterkids.com.
Okay, I think I've waited long enough. Time to go ask Duffy for forgiveness.
Sounds good, Momo. Best of wishes to you, and we'll meet again soon for another Lamplighter story. Thanks for listening to Lamplighter Podcast today. If you liked our story, please leave us a review. It really helps other listeners find these stories. If you're interested in subscribing to Letters from Momo, just visit our website at lamplighterkids.com. I also love to hear from my listeners. You can email me anytime at lamplighterkids@gmail.com.